Young and the Restless spoilers reveal Daniel and Nick's war will bring tension. There's never been a shortage of suspense, and this time, Daniel Romalotti is stirring up a storm with his determination to bring the truth to light. Tensions escalate as Daniel corners Nick Newman, forcing him to confront uncomfortable questions about Sharon Newman and the mysterious incident that happened that fateful night. Once again, the town is rocked by the conspiracies and secrets that are revealed. Phyllis and the questionable testimony. It all started when Phyllis Summers, Daniel's mother, provided him with information that he couldn't ignore. According to Phyllis, Sharon Newman changed her story. Sharon now claims that it wasn't just her and Heather who were in the apartment the night of the incident, but that there was a third person. This information not only contradicts Sharon's previous testimony, but also raises a series of questions. Who was the third person? And what role did they play in targeting Heather? Daniel, always meticulous and careful, begins to suspect that there is something he has missed. Is there a more complex plot going on? With that in mind, he decides to confront Nick Newman, who has always been on Sharon's side. The confrontation between Daniel and Nick. Daniel does not beat around the bush when it comes to confronting Nick. He wants to know why Sharon changed her story and, more importantly, whether this new testimony is credible. Nick, who has always been fiercely protective of Sharon, does not hesitate to reveal an important detail. Sharon has undergone several hypnosis sessions with Alan, a renowned hypnotherapist. These sessions, according to Nick, have helped Sharon open her eyes and recover buried memories. However, instead of feeling reassured, Daniel becomes more skeptical. How can I be sure that Sharon isn't making all this up to save myself? Daniel asked, his stern eyes not hiding his doubts. For him, there was no guarantee that the memories uncovered by hypnosis were completely accurate. Moreover, Sharon was in a cornered situation, and anyone in that situation could try to save themselves. Nick did not back down from Daniel's doubts. He continued to affirm his absolute faith in Sharon and even urged Daniel to stand by her side. According to Nick, if Daniel truly wanted to find justice for Heather, then cooperating and trusting Sharon was necessary. Daniel's doubt and determination. Despite Nick's attempts to convince him, Daniel still could not shake off his doubts. Nick's absolute trust in Sharon only made him ask more questions. Had Nick let his emotions cloud his judgment? Was Sharon using Nick's loyalty to cover up something? Daniel knew he needed to act quickly, because the real culprit was still at large. Meanwhile, Daniel is not only facing pressure from Nick, but also his own conscience. If he makes a mistake in judging Sharon, it could mean that Heather will never receive justice. But if he follows Nick's persuasion without clear evidence, he could contribute to derailing the investigation. The villains unmasked. Based on predictions, Jordan and Ian Ward, two characters with dark pasts, seem to be getting closer to exposing themselves. Jordan, with his sophisticated but equally dangerous schemes, may make a fatal mistake. Meanwhile, Ian Ward, who has always known how to manipulate others to achieve his goals, seems to be gradually losing control. Their mistakes not only risk exposing a dark plot but also push the entire town of Genoa City into a spiral of chaos. Hope for justice. Eventually, the truth will come to light, but the road to it will not be easy. Daniel is at a crossroads, forced to choose between his own doubts and Nick's convictions. Meanwhile, Nick is determined to protect Sharon no matter what the pressure. Will Daniel overcome all obstacles to find the real culprit? And will Nick's loyalty to Sharon be rewarded, or is he just a victim of a more complex plot? The answers remain to be seen, but one thing is certain: Genoa City will never lack for drama, and our characters will continue to fight for the truth, no matter the cost. A town that has long been known for its turmoil and intrigue is once again at the center of intense confrontations. Daniel Romalotti, a determined and intelligent man, is determined to bring the truth to light, even if it means facing off against one of the most powerful figures in the town, Nick Newman. The story of Sharon Newman and the mysterious events that happened that fateful night not only shakes the town but also raises questions about loyalty, truth, and justice. Phyllis Summers and the inciting word. The story begins when Phyllis Summers, Daniel's sharp and controversial mother, suddenly drops a bombshell. According to Phyllis, Sharon Newman has changed her story about what really happened that night. Initially, Sharon claimed that she and Heather were the only ones in the apartment when the incident occurred. But now, Sharon says there was a third person present. This change raises questions in Daniel's mind. Is Sharon trying to hide something? Or is she really being pushed into a conspiracy that she herself cannot fully understand? Phyllis's words are like a spark that ignites Daniel's determination. He cannot stand by when someone he knows, Heather, becomes a victim in this case. Daniel decides to find Nick Newman to confront, because he knows that Nick is not only the person who has always been by Sharon's side, but also a person of great influence in Genoa City. The fiery confrontation. Daniel approaches Nick with all the questions swirling in his mind. "Nick, what's going on here?" Daniel begins, his eyes shining with determination. "Why did Sharon change her story? How can you be sure that what she says is true?" Nick, with the courage of a man accustomed to facing pressure, did not flinch. Instead, he revealed a detail that even Daniel did not expect. Sharon had undergone several hypnosis sessions with Alan, a famous hypnotist. These sessions, according to Nick, helped Sharon recover long-buried memories and reveal the truth about the third person. Nick believed that Sharon was not making things up, but that she was actually a victim of greater forces. But Daniel was not easily convinced. "How do you know that what she remembers is not a product of her imagination? Have you ever thought that Sharon could have made it all up to save herself?" Daniel asked, his tone full of doubt. He did not have complete faith in the method of hypnosis, and even less did he believe that Sharon would not try to find a way to save herself in this dangerous situation. Nick reacted immediately, his eyes full of protection. "Sharon isn't that kind of person, and you know it. Daniel, she's not the culprit. If you want justice for Heather, you should stand with Sharon, not against her." Daniel's torn mind. The argument left Daniel in a complicated state of mind. He knew Nick was right when he said that justice required cooperation, but Daniel couldn't shake his doubts. He'd seen too many bad guys get away with blind protection or cleverly constructed lies. Nick's absolute trust in Sharon seemed to only make Daniel more suspicious. Was Nick letting his personal feelings get the better of him? Or, worse, was Sharon taking advantage of Nick's loyalty? Daniel realized one thing, though: the real culprit was still at large. And if he didn't act quickly, things might come to a dead end. Jordan and Ian Ward's shadows. While Daniel struggles with himself, a larger conspiracy is unfolding in the shadows. Jordan, a manipulative character, and Ian Ward, a man with an undeniable criminal past, seem to be carrying out an elaborate plan to manipulate the case. Ian Ward, with his excellent psychological manipulation skills, may have had a hand in Sharon's hypnosis sessions, planting false memories to mislead the investigation. Meanwhile, Jordan, who has always been good at hiding his guilt, may make a fatal mistake that will cause everything to fall apart. Both are playing a dangerous game, and Genoa City may pay a heavy price if these people are not brought to light. Through all the events, one thing is clear: Genoa City is never short of battles between good and evil, between truth and lies. Daniel knows the path he has chosen will be arduous, but he also understands that justice can only be achieved if he holds fast to his belief in truth and integrity. Nick, with all his loyalty to Sharon, remains steadfast in protecting the woman he loves. But will that protection be a fatal weakness or the key to exposing the truth? Subscribe to Yonder for the latest news.